Hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Late Night Guild Wars. I am, as always, your host, Katalalaris.
And I'm your co-host, I'm sure Warlock.
There we go. There he is.
Well, I mean, I wasn't sure if you were going to introduce me or if I should just go in.
Ah. That was my bad.
Usually you introduce me.
Usually I do. Where's our commander? We have a commander on this map somewhere. Where the fuck is he? Oh, he's
one
up
just
there.
Where are you? They're going after Leadfoot.
Yeah, they are.
Hopefully we get another 5 seconds this time.
Right.
I always really hate it when you're on these events when you're almost done. You're like capturing the point and you run out of time.
They're going after. They're trying to take this. No, they're going after Vishen.
Yeah.
Again.
And well, we got 7 minutes to take her out.
How did that happen? What the fuck? I got yoinked.
Blap, where are you? I'm coming down.
Yeah, I got blapped a bit. I also got picked back up.
Oh, you got up? Okay.
Yeah, someone picked me up.
Okay. I'm taking out Vishen number 16 over. Wait, yeah, she just fucked off. Okay, looks like Vishen. Okay, she usually spawns on the north side of the. There we go. Tally-ho.
Where's she at?
She's on the west side of the village.
Okay. Let's see.
Burn her down.
We heal as one.
Okay. She stealthed again.
Oh, she fuck off.
Yep. Take down her clones. Vishen's shtick is the most annoying shit.
It really is.
She is far and away the most annoying steel warband to fight.
She really is. She's terrible. I hate her so much.
Yes. Because she's like a mesmer sniper. It's really annoying. And frankly, kind of bullshit. Like, can you imagine how annoying in PvP a rifle mesmer would be?
Oh god. Someone here thought that fucking giving the fucking someone thought giving Necro a pistol would be bad. I think worse would be giving Mesmer a rifle.
Yeah, oh my god. If you could... you know what? I bet that would actually be something they could do based on Vishen.
I wouldn't be surprised if they would.
Like, it's clearly in their head as far as, hey, this is something we can do. Let's make a rifleman mesmer. Oh my god, that's a terrible idea.
That's a horrible idea, and yet I would not be at all surprised to see them do it.
Yeah.
At all.
Not my day today.
Did you die a little bit?
Well, no, I didn't die. I just didn't make a jump with what I would call the precision of a yes. With Bell, we're gonna ask precision. I got blapped real hard there.
Oh shit.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm Azang. I'm usually in some kind of distress.
That takes more energy.
What the fuck?
Seriously?
I got nuked by somebody. Did she do a finisher on me? Jesus.
I think she did.
Yeah, I didn't realize she could finish me.
Well done. Recover the hold the forest and the beach. Rendezvous at the village base and begin your final advance. Swiftly. And that I don't blame her.
Well, I'm off to a great start. Do I have a bolster? I have an achievement for this. This is the village.
What do you want?
Oh, okay. I spend a lot of war supplies too.
I'd rather spend my war supplies on fucking keys.
True, but you can get char commendations by doing some
Some camp maintenance.
yeah. Well, it's because you can get the like special missions to fix up the camp and so on.
Gotcha.
So, oh, I just got something cool.
Oh, what'd you get? Interesting. Power, precision, toughness. That's weird stats. Oh. Alright, Dominion, time to die.
Oh, we got the Wolf's Crossing? Alright. Yes, please.
Hey, Phoenix Argus.
Hello, Phoenix.
As we're running around murdering things in Drizzlewood Coast.
Yeah. Doing the endgame meta.
Yeah. Well, the next endgame meta, because the endgame meta is champions.
True.
Like Dragonstorm.
Achievements isn't really a meta per se.
That's true. Although the end game, they did something with Dragonstorm that it's.
Well, they made Dragonstorm like a public event, I think.
Yeah. Like a world boss type event.
Yeah.
Wow, there's fog, and I don't think I like it.
Yeah. Stephen King-esque.
Well, it's blinding is the problem.
Yeah.
It may not be fog, actually, now I think about it. It might be fucking... Oh, there's Vichen. Alright, bitch.
Right, time for revenge. I am going to teach you a lesson about screwing.
And she fucked off.
Hell's for Noah. Oh, Vichen went up.
Yeah. She cloned herself again.
Well, time to declone her.
Ow! What did I get hit by?
Did you get blabbed?
No, my runes fired, but it hurt. Whatever it was. It's fucking thief, that's what's going on.
Let's delve with that one. Not sure what. We can probably get off the
Probably.
Not exactly contributing a ton here. Where'd Vice get off to? Looks like she's on the ground, actually.
I think she's on the ground now.
Let's go say hi. No, she's up top.
Oh, is she?
Yep. There's some dead people too.
Are they by her, or...?
They're further back. Oh, shit. Somebody needs to break bar her up here.
Alright, I'm on my way. Because Sylphe has stupid CC.
Get these mobs off your back.
Ow!
Let's
Ah!
just shake it off if you're weak.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Oh shit, you down?
Shit happened, yeah. Ranger privilege!
You. Get up, get up. Looks like Renault's driving this big stupid truck around down here. I'll go punch him some.
Yeah. Where's a way station? There's a way station. Let me just get a thing real quick. Holy shit, that was a lot of poison.
Yeah, that guy just like vented his septic tank or something on the battlefield. It's like an RV, he's got like a septic tank in there.
Yeah. That was a lot of toxic.
Yeah. His Bison is still fighting.
Ah. No, 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 no. Ow.
You're killing your own. You don't want this. I know you don't.
Bitch.
Okay, fucked off.
Have we met?
Fucked off.
Let me introduce you to my ammo.
Looks like Vishen is on the side. And I am heading up here because I'm solo right now. Oh,
Well,
that's really bad.
the tank's on the ground now.
Is it? Okay. Ah, god damn it. What the f super annoying. I rest. Somehow. I don't fucking know how. Hey, you.
Alright, where are you?
Up here, trying not to die. God damn, I killed. I have to jump
ow.
in.
Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah,
Nope.
watch out. It's angry up there. I was trying to solo way too many dudes. Up here still.
No, I'm not. I had a sneezy fit and that did not help anything.
I understand. I shouldn't have moved.
Yeah.
Okay, they took her out.
Anger rising.
Ow.
And now for the easiest part.
Right. The fucking easiest part of the fight.
Yeah, we just shoot rockets at Nigamar until the chopper crashes.
Where'd it go?
It's up there.
There it is. Ow. Ass hat.
Watch kill get down.
Our commander got picked up in the anti-grav.
Oh, did he? That's fine.
Yeah. Thank you, Phoenix. Also, CSA says, burst sneeze, the classic Katala move.
Yes.
Yeah, I freaking fucking Spitfire sneezes, my goodness. all the shit
Well,
I have in
14
my bag.
You can probably go hit a couple of cash keepers. I've only got like 4 keys left, so I'm really only good for about 1. I am doing well on this achievement. There's the Rosie Breaks deal.
I think I've got that achievement.
Yeah, I just want to get the chest.
Gotcha. Mm. CSA says that chopper pilot saw all those players with rocket launchers and just thought Charlie was everywhere.
Right. Oh god. Charlie's in the trees. Although, contrary to rumor, Charlie does surf. Let me pull the chat back up.
And Phoenix R just wants to know what the Char eat. They definitely eat meat, and yes, they do in fact eat certain vegetables.
Yeah. They kind of claim they don't eat vegetables.
They claim they don't eat vegetables, but they absolutely eat vegetables.
Yeah. Well, it's because there's Char chefs that make food which is mostly composed of like grains and vegetables. If you remember, before you go in the fight Croc and Torkin, there's that Char chef there.
Yes.
It's like rice, broccoli, and I think beef or something.
You know what it kind of reminded me of, what he was doing? It kind of reminded me of, like, freaking broccoli beef that you get at, like...
Chinese, yeah.
Yeah. I'm about to get in trouble. No, fuck off. A Dominion Keeper is under attack and I've failed miserably.
What the?
Where to...
I'm looking at the guy right now. I'm fighting him. Not a lot of people. Caster Crushpaw. Clearly a confidence-inspiring name. Guy's also putting out blind fields like they're going out of business.
Phoenix R just says some really bad meat and veggies if the septic tank is especially toxic.
Yeah, right.
Either that or just char digestive systems aren't the greatest.
I don't even know. I'm not sure I want to know. Turn my speakers down a little bit. I think there might be feedback.
A little bit. Also, I think you might need to recycle your microphone.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking from across the room there a little bit, and that usually...
Yeah, that makes your
Makes my
microphone
microphone go
malfunction a little bit.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hello, hello.
After a fucking cash keeper, Alexis Shredskin.
Huh. Well, I'm out of cash keys, so I'm going to. Although I guess I can get some more by fighting these guys.
Probably. I'm gonna buy some here in a little bit myself.
I bought a bunch earlier.
Where are we going? Right there.
Let's see.
It's really sad that a lot of your old, like, warband mates end up doing this, and, like, several of them end up being cash keepers.
Yeah. They end up working for the Dominion, and
Yeah.
we'll thankful. Yeah, Lucia Wild out here.
I'm not the only one who uses the Griffin to cheese this map.
Right. I got a lag spike just as I dismounted using Bond of Faith.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, my God. God, I'm getting the most amazing lag spikes.
Oh, dear.
Temperature normalized.
Someone here has a Sylvari Hollowsmith.
Serious. And I deserve
Interesting. How about if I go kill that magma effigy? I can get some.
And I deserve it too.
Probably can.
It is kind of a pain they don't give you keys for the northern defense on this map.
Yeah, it really is.
Alright, give me a key.
50 50 Flame Legion commendations. I'll take that.
Nice. Apparently an effigy scrap pile.
Well, it did kind of blow up.
Yeah. True.
Like a lot.
There's a there looks like there's a cache keeper south of us.
For whatever
There's a
reason,
something.
it is not letting me.
Okay. There's another effigy over here too.
By my will, your seal. Never saw it coming.
Will bring justice. We heal as one.
I don't believe I've fought this effigy before. Hey, Waffles! Waffles
Hey,
says
Waffles.
somewhere in Washington is a recycling bin filled with gaming headsets. AW is so wasteful.
Right. That's actually truer than you'd think.
Anger rising.
I may have smacked it with a freaking essence ability.
Nice. Blap. I was going to ask how you gotten your essence charged up that quickly until I realized that you'd been screwing around with this map for like an hour ahead of me.
Yeah. Alright.
Now let's get north.
Wolf's Crossing. Come on. There we
Yep.
go.
Frost Citadel, here we come. Oh, there's a flame shaman up here.
Oh, I think Mike just got home.
All right.
The Phoenix Argus says, when not in combat, the Sylvari Hollowsmith uses the excess light produced by the specialization to photosynthesize.
Sounds.
Then Waffles says, would Sylvari sunbathers be gluttonous or slothful? Both.
I don't even know.
We'll go with both.
Probably be fairly attractive though.
Right?
I mean, I'm all on board with this scheme.
I'm absolutely okay with this scheme. It probably doesn't help my case all that much that I shamelessly shipped my main character with Traherne for a very long time.
I mean, you say that like all of us didn't shamelessly ship our names with Traherne for a very long time. Although, in fairness, I never actually did that, however.
I mean, Az doesn't strike me as the type to go gay.
Yeah, he doesn't swing that way. He's more like super bro buddies with Traherne.
Our agents just sent word. There's an enemy tribune nearby.
Okay, it looks like the Iron Tribune just showed up, which means it's time for me to get on a roller beetle and go to one of my favorite things to do on this map.
Go smack tribunes.
Bowling for Iron Tribunes.
Right here somewhere.
That's Yeah. As the game takes its sweet time loading the guy in.
Loading everything in, like,
Knowledge is power.
I kid you not, everything is just like all nothing.
Yeah. every single
Yeah.
play, every single model got pulled out.
Yes. Oh dear. Players are having many downs. Probably because they can't see
And they probably got
anything.
stuck in the. They probably got stuck in that guy's lab field.
Oh, was there a lightning? Tribune's right there.
Yeah, I'm looking at him.
Ah,
I was having difficulties earlier, but I'm not currently
what
having
happened?
difficulties.
Nope, not that I saw. It was kind of cloudy, but I didn't see any rain.
It's this fucking.
Ah. Yeah, no rain here. Didn't even, like, get any thunder to speak of.
Tribune's down. Thanks for the help.
Ah!
Should keep the Dominion on their heels for a
That I saw was pretty far off.
Yeah.
Might makes right.
Did you ensure that is not the Earth elemental? Begin mining.
Well, I got a cash key out of that.
Oh, yeah, I scrambled some eggs for lunch. Although I do plan to make tacos tomorrow. Wait, what is today? Is today Thursday or I mean, is today?
Today's Tuesday.
Oh, wow. We have a while to wait. I thought it was later in the week than that. I thought today was Wednesday.
And I'm stuck in combat.
I am too. We can.
Well, it's because I was done. I was still had my roller beetle selected, so I was like trying to ride my roller beetle up. Morning. What is fucking hitting me?
Turrets.
Yeah, the Dominion had like a fucking turret they were shooting at me with.
Well, they're auto turrets, and again, it's another one of those things that players just never want to get rid of.
They're annoying and stupid, yes. Well, guess what? I'm getting rid of one right now. Along with a bunch of corrupted, looks like these things were Norn at one point. I'm not sure what they currently are, but beyond unnatural.
Are you up on this mountain?
Might makes right.
I'm over on the west side of the event area.
Oh,
with
okay.
Not a lot of people.
Gotcha.
I'm just soloing Portal because I was feeling like soloing something.
Yeah, they used to be Norn. If you check the names, it's shamans. Shaman.
Yeah, they're fallen shamans.
Yeah.
We heal as one.
Is that a champion?
Watch yourself. A portal full of aberrant
CSA says, how does a Sylvari get a sunburn? It withers.
sensual chartreuse.
Oh god.
Oh, jeez, this chick.
Calls me. Eliminate it. In a respectful manner.
Wow. Wow,
It's the
girl.
most beautiful shade of chartreuse. Yeah, this is why we don't let the Asura make decisions about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because usually they end up making decisions based on how irresponsible can they be about basic scientific problems.
Yeah, well, in this Asura in particular is a little bit disturbing.
Yes, a little bit nuts.
Anger rising.
Why are you there?
Look, it's a portal to the different armor field. I don't care what color it is. I just want closed. Thanks.
Right. Fucking wisp. That's... I'm not sure that's gonna die.
What are you looking at?
Oh, we're fighting a wisp because it decided to attack us. When Phoenix Argus says the reason why there are so few Sylvari in a bar is because they're banned. They always wind up looking for a root.
Oh god. But one of my favorite moves to do is jump off the sky scale, use the sky scale attack to set the ground on fire, and then spin to win with axes in the middle of it to get burning bolts.
Right.
It's just it's a beautiful combo.
It really is.
Okay, we have to go. Oh, this is the Dominion Artillery, which also has the septic tank functionality.
Yeah.
Let's see, is this? Okay, no, this is a different. I was thinking of a different event. Right, I'm already low. Great. Wow, there's just a lot of bad guys.
There's a lot of angry everything here.
Just all the angry, much angry. I may need to get jumped in.
Where are you?
Respawning. So I may have decided to try to fight the entire Dominion army while I was kind of low on health to begin with.
Not only while you were low on health, but while you were by yourself.
Yes. By my goddamn self.
He made
The
mistakes.
thing you find out is that cleave damage actually...
Goes both ways.
Well, no, well, that's part of it, but also, cleave damage only hits 5 enemies.
Yeah, that too.
Commander, enemy tribune near your position. Be careful.
Yay, a Tribune that wants to die. So we are, in fact, one of these days going to have to take people through Biora marches. Because we discovered something quite amusing.
Oh boy, that guy has a lot of bad.
Much bad, very bad, all the bad.
Pretty much, yeah. Did I get fucking knocked out of my complete... So I healed, didn't get my fucking heal, and... I got down.
I don't think I
Okay.
can do anything about that either. You're
No,
in
it's
the
almost
middle
well for me.
of a patch of angry.
Somebody was very nice with me, so maybe I shouldn't stand in the middle of every conny on Earth. Yeah, if you notice all the fucking down players over there, yeah, there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm well aware.
Work with that tribute. I'll send in some Legion support and secure that territory.
I've beaten you, but you don't know it yet.
It's not time to die.
Oh yeah, that's on the mend.
Oh god. Argus says fertilizer play.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Why would Why would you
Senor.
do that?
No, senor. No, senor.
Az does not consent.
Not in the slightest. Oh. Did you see my entrance?
No, I didn't. There was too much going on.
Uh, I used Bond of Faith to jump into the camp, and then started spinning to win with axes.
That's funny. This Tribune doesn't want to die. Oh, he's not a Tribune. He's just an elite.
He's a warden. This isn't. Yeah.
I wonder if he needs to go outside. He has been sleeping ever since he ate dinner. Which means that he very well may need to go outside.
Well done,
Because my dog is weird.
Evac chopper is inbound. Get to it now.
Alright, where am I going here? See where
I think
the
we just
command
hang out
group
on
is.
water.
Well, we do need to take this map section, it looks like.
Yeah, we do. Oh, there's a. We have to blow up the Dominion camp.
Gotcha.
We need to take this camp down.
And okay, it looks like there's some explosives on the east side.
All of them were giggling at you. By the way.
Mhm.
Waffles in particular was giggling when you said no, senor.
Oh god.
Anger rising.
Let me get some bombs here at the remote way station.
Yeah. You need the remote charge, I believe.
Yeah, you need the remote charge. I'm just waiting for mine to charge back up.
Yeah.
Kind of taking a while to die.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny, really.
Kind of super annoying.
Oh yeah, that's mine.
Hey, get out of my inventory.
We accomplished what we needed to. Our soldiers' lives are no longer at risk. Not here at least.
Commander, word is a portal spewing Sons of Svanir isn't far from you. Might want to keep an eye out. It's well crafted, sort of a light blue. A rare beauty indeed. Get rid of it fast. But please be gentle.
Looks like there's a Svanir portal event happening around here.
Yep. And she's melting over it again.
Right.
And I do mean it when I say she's melting.
Yes.
Are we sure Jormag isn't fucking with her head? Ah.
Yeah, it's probably a safe assumption. Oh boy. Okay.
Are you gonna go fight it all by yourself?
There are other PCs with me.
Okay.
There's at least one other PC with me.
There's at least one
Okay,
more,
I
he
see
says.
one more. Well, I mean, the commander's up here. Like, they already took out one of the portals.
Okay, I'm headed your direction.
Now, I might be going to the portal with, like, nobody else at it, but,
I will fight all the Svanir by myself.
damn right. Yo, the Spiders suck. They deserve to get their asses kicked.
Let's melt and have warm fuzzies over portals to the underworld. There's no way that could possibly go wrong.
Yes. Like, I think Jormag might actually be in your head.
Right?
Commander,
Messing
enemy
with you.
tribune near your position. Be careful.
Oh, more tribunes. I'm always up for killing those guys.
This one's a ways away to do. I gotta move. As I do this, the Blood Legion way and fly directly over the mountain instead of like trying to go around. Well, part of that might be so I can do this.
Looking for me, Commander. Good. I've been waiting for this fight.
Ah. Oh dear. I am not in a good spot.
Oh.
We heal as one.
I do kind of headcanon that the Blood Legion Tribune is one of Az's axes.
She's what?
One of Az's axes.
Well, welcome
like,
to the
babe,
Guild
you
Wars
have
stream
not
where
done
we
your
where we
job,
theory craft and decide what our characters' backstories are.
Pretty much.
Even if you take this territory.
So, do you want to, speaking of actual topics for the podcast, did you just want to talk? I know there was some discussion before we started about doing a spooky stream today.
There was.
Although we might want to pick a less somewhat insane. Although, I'm certainly down to talk about intensive things while also doing
Other intensive things.
one of the crazier ones.
I mean, we did pick a good expansion for it too.
True.
Especially if we end up in Bajora Marches.
If we go over to Biora March, that'd be an excellent.
Well, because that map is just creepy in general.
Might makes right.
Actually,
Well,
that
it's designed that way.
yeah, it
creepy
is.
map.
It's designed to be an incredibly creepy map. They also put a totally not a skinwalker there. Skinwalker. Totally not
Wendigo?
Wendigo there.
Yeah. In fact, I'm surprised they don't have a skinwalker there.
I kind of am too, really. Maybe they
Yeah,
couldn't
just
get away
about
with
every
that.
other. Yeah. Like, Biora Marches is like something out of a creepypasta about creepy video games.
Ah. Oh, I got stuck.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I do think it's kind of remarkable that we live in a world where UFOs are just completely confirmed, right?
Right.
And
Well,
that is, yeah.
I don't know if you ever sat and watched the
Clear on calls if you're near a water source.
credits for Stargate, the original Stargate series.
The bad news is Dominion
No,
strikes on our
I never
So-
really watched that.
So my aunt did. She watched the show and then she let it play for a while at one point and she was watching the credits. She's like, "Hang on.
not be flashy, but they're
There is a United States there was like a United States space something or other that they thanked in the credits for all the information
Yeah.
and all the help with the series." It was like, like United States Space Command or some weird thing like that, and she's like, hang on, that... Okay, what is this about? Yeah, and this was not my insane aunt, this was my actual, like...
Normal ant.
Normal aunt.
Well, I mean, I can understand, because, I mean, Stargate is kind of a, military show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's science fiction, but apparently there was, like, a real organization, like, government organization that they were getting information from.
Huh.
And that was what really kind of made my aunt start wondering about it.
And I need a way station.
I actually dropped one.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got a couple in my inventory. I need to.
Ow! Jeez.
You know?
There's a lot of it's progressively spawning more and more and more Dominion back there.
Oh yeah, I did notice there was a bunch of bad back there. Do you mean they would clear it out? I would clear these fuckers
we
out.
may need to clear it out because they spawned right on top of the way station.
Do this and not fucking die. Thank you. Holy nuts. Of course, I'm just low on abilities right now.
Oof.
Okay, now I can zerg. Here we go. Now we're in business. All right.
Yeah, this is...
Okay, I just cleared out the fuckery back where we came from. Okay.
Ow!
Chibi,
Ow, 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 ow.
Where are you?
I'm under it, unfortunately.
Shit.
Come on.
Okay, I see you. Let me get you up. You, okay. It's like you got up.
Yeah, someone got me up. There's a person very,
I saw you
dead
down.
here.
Legion Pro. Come to the lab sometime. I'll show you some of my latest work.
Our commander's running.
Yeah. Okay, looks like the commander's actually hanging out with me right now. Interesting. Although it's weird because I'm like the only person here, besides me and the commander, and that's it.
Where did you end up even? We got left behind.
I just...
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I got stuck in combat.
Sorry.
It's okay. Usually I can take care of myself. Sometimes I can't, but usually I can.
Yeah. Well, there's sort of a trick to that, like, usually you're kind of in a position where you can run away, to some extent. Not always, sometimes. Okay, this portal's about to go away, that portal's not.
Screw you and your net turret.
Yes. The stupid Dominion engineers and their stupid net. There's a PC down there. You need to get up.
Ah. Phoenix Argus says, a Sylvari and a human had competing restaurants. However, due to the wide range of flavors, the human's restaurant was doing well. However, one day the Sylvari started to increase their sales. The human asks the Sylvari how they increased their profits, and the Sylvari responds, I branched out and produced a plate of baked goods. Turns out the Sylvari had cannabis ruderalis heritage.
Oh my god.
Why would... No! Stop it!
That'll do it, yeah. That'll do it.
And Waffles says,
PC
think all the exterior stock photos they used was the Cheyenne Mountain Complex.
Well, yeah, 'cause I think Stargate was heavily based on Cheyenne Mountain.
I believe it was, yeah.
Knew we could count on you.
So get Mr. Deadass over here on.
Enemy Tribune near your position. Be careful.
Hi, Casimir. Oh, stop shooting me!
You know, Casimir does not really strike me as the most probable person to be running a military operation.
Right.
It's like all these really gnarly Casimir. Oh, watch out! This guy's got the.
Yep, I'm well
break-
aware.
Really? Or at least for whatever reason, he dropped his.
Not bad. Shame you're wasting your talents fighting for the wrong side.
Maybe I might be smart.
Phoenix says there may be an explanation as to why UFOs moved from disc-shaped ships to angled hulls during the period that they were starting to be noticed. I'm assuming he's still typing.
Doesn't fall back to the enemy.
Oh, we got
Well,
Brother
it's almost
Malachi
like
here.
sometimes I get like a. I'm not sure if you've ever had this happen to you, but sometimes you'll like read a note or something, read a document, and you read what you want to believe
Yeah.
instead of what's actually there. I've had that happen to me a bunch of times. Probably because I have a fairly active imagination. I can kind of mind over matter a little bit.
Yeah. In a way.
At least inside my own head. But so I mean the all this news about UFOs has come out recently, which has just been incredibly, stuff which should be just incredibly earth-shaking, and yet it's not.
Yeah. Well,
It's really been ignored or treated as a curiosity. That's bizarre.
Oh dear. Oh, mistakes.
I mean, you need to. Where are you?
Crap, 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 crap.
You in here?
I fell in
Where are
Jormag's
you?
blood pit.
Oh, there you are. Okay, shit. Let's see. I was trying to figure out where you.
That
where
bit
you were.
actually was surprisingly not dangerous. Although, apparently, I took damage from somewhere because, bitch!
Yeah, it's because we're running a gauntlet of Dominion jackasses shooting at us. It's a Dominion supply Dolyak we can nuke. It's almost like they've conditioned people to just believe that aliens, UFOs, and so on is just complete garbage for so long. And the number of people who were involved in spreading this, very credentialed, very serious people.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, people, like, the smarter the person, the more likely people are to believe them. Or the smarter the person appears, the more likely people are to believe them.
And, I mean, it's been revealed now that these people were either... the debunkers are legions of them were either in on it or were. And are we ever going to see a reckoning for that?
Probably not. That'd be my guess.
I mean, there's a whole debunking industry out there for supernatural stuff in general, but UFOs in particular.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason
That's
that
a
it
good
only
theory.
ever shows up in, like, tabloid rags and stuff, too.
with me.
Yeah, I mean the sort of phenomenon almost has been discredited in the public mind to an extraordinary extent, and because of that, even after it gets confirmed, people still don't take it seriously.
I think that was by design.
Which is just
I really
remarkable.
do.
I mean, it's. I think that absolutely was by design.
Uh-oh, this guy's gonna throw shit at us. Because...
We're fighting a Dominion thing or other. We're fighting the Dominion.
Yeah. He's dead.
Our agents just
Tribune just popped.
an enemy tribune nearby.
Where?
Take
Oh,
them out.
right here. Right in my face.
Right here, yes.
Right in my face.
Literally within sword range.
That chopper is inbound. Get to it.
Hi, Molly.
Never saw it, Mom.
You can't stop me.
Not sure if that's doing anything as far as CC goes, but you know what? It feels good.
I actually managed to
Well,
break
doesn't
his
CC
bar
everything.
completely with the frickin' essence skill.
Oh yeah, Essence skills are great.
Actually, that's a very good point. Brother Malachi says, well, the men in black used to use the tabloid rags, remember?
Nice work with that tribute.
Yeah.
So those movies may in fact have been a little more accurate than anyone thought.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure I believe the frickin' locker scene from the...
Right.
That one was just too much.
Yeah. But you know, Tyler from Secure Team 10, because his channel was down for like a couple of years recently.
That's what you were
He
saying.
just brought it back up, and
Yeah.
when he like just brought it back up, and so far the stuff he's been doing has been really mild. Like it's really not stuff that I seems particularly earth shattering.
Yeah.
And the thing was that he got in like a bunch of legal and health trouble at the same time, and this all happened right after he some of the last stuff he posted before this sort of disaster hit this guy was he was posting about like Men in Black outside his like weird not like Men in Black but like weird cars outside his house.
Yep.
Huh.
You know, dudes in suits in them, I think.
Yeah.
Like, he thought he was under surveillance.
Honestly, it's entirely possible and entirely probable that he was.
Well, because he had one of the
Hi,
biggest...
Molly, you're helping.
I think it still is the biggest UFO channel on YouTube. He's a big content creator. And people would send him, like, legitimately weird stuff.
Yeah.
The spoils of war.
Well, I mean, my grandma had seen some kind of weird stuff when she was younger. Like, of
Yeah.
all the things she did not believe in, UFOs she definitely believed in.
Doomforge. You ready?
First Ragnar kills my granddad. Then he starts turning Char into monsters for an elder dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything I would call a UFO.
Let's shut down the Frost Legion. Nothing like the spoils of war.
My grandma did.
Certainly,
Yeah, I never have either, but my grandma had, she told me this story one time about, she was riding in the car with somebody, I forget who, and she happened to look up, they were driving at night, and she happened to look up, and she saw this, like, really long, cigar-shaped thing in the sky, and at first she thought it was just, like, maybe a comet or something, but it
Yeah.
moved wrong for that. And it glowed,
It was
and
weird.
apparently it also fucked with their car radio.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And they, like, it was, like, right in the direction they were planning to go. Well, the person driving decided, no, I'm actually going to take a different route home because I don't want to drive under this thing. And it turned out it was a lot bigger than they initially thought it was, too.
Oh yeah, I mean, you read some of the
Like, it was
accounts of these things, and they're
huge.
just, you know, you hear, I mean, some of these things are the size of flying aircraft carriers.
Yeah, well, like this one apparently was. She said she had no idea how big it really was, like exactly, but she would have said it was probably, oh. She said she would think it was probably as big as a small building.
Yeah. Not surprised at all. They're
And not just a small building either, like as big as like a small skyscraper.
yeah.
That needs to go away. Ow. Okay, that's dead.
Okay, West Landing Zone is secure. You want to push east?
Yeah, let's head towards center because that one's still up. Ow. Stop it.
So it looks like the entire team went west. With us for something. Oh god.
Did oh no.
Yes. Oh shit. Don't worry, I'm working on it. Okay, I may not be working on it very effectively.
Do you need assistance?
I'm just gonna parachute that.
Okay.
So I managed to frigging drop into the damn
Ow.
We heal as one.
I have not been having great luck tonight as far as quality of play.
Yeah. Well, and the interesting thing about the whole UFO thing and Stargate thing, if you look at it compared to Star Trek, none of that was ever like used in Star Trek, right? Like no one ever thanked the United States Department of Space. Like that's what it was. It was like United States Space Command. It's like really now. Like long before Trump even created the Space Force.
Yeah.
Like this was ages ago. And we
I mean,
found
Space Command has
that
been around for a while.
yeah. But like there was some like specific section of Space Command too that they were thanking. I'm trying to I cannot remember for the life of me what that specific thing was. But my aunt looked at it and she's like, that can't be right.
See, CFW, oh, we have some good comments in here. Which I
Yeah,
have not
we really
been
do.
tracking.
We've been having a hard time keeping track of the chat. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry, we are going nuts trying to fight a map meta and talk about UFOs at the same. Of course, west is screwed again. Let's go. I'm heading back west.
Obviously. Oh. They're not screwed.
Yeah, well, I guess smart people showed up.
Yeah. Well, Brother Malachi says,
CFW.
well, this is new content. Someone had to, they can't say it's fake based on Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, but that really wasn't what I mean though. Like, cause okay, Stargate actually had input from an official organization, and apparently quite a substantial amount of input too. Star Trek did not. I mean, if anything, the credits to Stargate and Stargate Atlantis should have been the thing that tipped people off that maybe this isn't as fake as you all have, as everyone has been conditioned to believe.
Well, and also the government was willing to get on board with a production like that.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason they were willing to get on board with a production like that is probably just because they had done their job so well that they knew there was no way anyone would take it as anything but science fiction.
Well, I mean, you've heard of Project Blue, right?
Project what now?
Project Blue Book. It's sort of an infamous.
Oh,
sort of
yeah, I have.
Now let's ring the bell and see who's home.
Where the Air Force came to the, back in the 50s and 60s, the military investigated this sort of thing, and they had some initial sort of reports that came out where they were sort of ambivalent about it, and then they had their big report come out, which was Project Blue Book.
Yeah.
That was their was supposed to be like the comprehensive report, and it ended up concluding, that this is all just this is all just swamp, right?
Yeah. I think
All
you
this
need to
misidentification.
lean closer to your microphone.
Oh, sorry. So the conclusion that came out of Blue Book was, well, this is all just misidentifications, right? It's all glorified.
Yeah, I
swamp
remember
gas.
that. I remember that.
And people have been saying forever this was a cover-up. But
Well,
I mean,
that's what
right?
my
It's an
grandma
official
thought.
government. Yeah. Because it was, the official.
Yeah.
That was what the sort of that was the official U.S. government line forever.
Right. Well, it's
Lo
still
and
the
behold-
official U.S. government line for anything they don't want you to. For basically anything they want to pull the wool over your face on.
Yeah. And lo and behold, guess what? Blue Book was a confirmed cover-up. They've come out and said what these things are.
Okay, Brother
they're real
Malachi
objects.
says Blueprint said X% they couldn't explain, but they blew it off anyway. He said Star Trek tried to talk to science advisors despite being infamous for technobabble. Yeah, well, and that was what was kind of odd to me, was Star Trek, for whatever reason, couldn't get any traction with...
Can we repair the cannons?
Like Star Trek couldn't get any traction. They couldn't get, like, actual, like, science-y people to talk to them.
Yeah, which
like
is
they wouldn't
strange.
do
I
it,
mean,
which
you'd think
is
that would be
weird when you factor in that original Stargate was being made around the same time as, I want to say, TNG. Actually, it may have been older than that.
Well, I think the movie was older than that, but the TV show was not.
The TV show wasn't, no. The movie was, ow. The movie was 80s, I want to say.
I think it was early 90s. I remember kind of when it came out. I was very young.
Okay. I was just guessing. It's been a really long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah. I do get a kick out of how Ember is just yelling it out from to shoot fireballs at it.
Yes.
Just like, stop talking and shoot fireballs at it.
Shoot it with a fireball or something, she says.
Yeah. Stop talking and hit it with a fireball or something.
You gotta love Ember.
Yeah, Ember and Ephraim actually seem to get along surprisingly well.
Yes. Like, Ephraim's the brains, Ember is the backbone.
Yeah.
He provides her
Just
with
like
the
Ember
information she needs to successfully do her crazy. She provides Ephraim with the spine he needs to get anywhere in life.
Yes. People are throwing bombs at the gate.
It may be that one. Unfortunately, I don't think I can bring it up on the stream.
Watch for Dominion defenses. They'll just rush in like...
A jar? You were gonna say jar, weren't you? Bam! Uh-oh.
Oh, I didn't realize that Stephen Hawking had a TNG cameo. That is cool.
Yeah, he did.
That takes more energy.
Okay,
Now it looks
there
like a
they
phalanx
go.
just went offensive.
Now they broke. Ow. Again, no one wants to get rid of the CC.
Yes.
Which, I don't know why I expected anything different.
So well, we're not running the meta ourselves. It's a little,
That is true.
we just have to, like, kill our way through the entire damn Dominion army, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And that may
So
be
what-
one reason why people absolutely point blank refuse to touch the CC dealers.
Yeah.
Although I
was
still
gonna make
think
a
it
joke
would
about
make
the-
fighting them easier.
It really would. I was gonna make a joke about destroying the Reichstag, but that's pretty much what we're actually doing, so...
That is. I'm not sure how much of a joke that is.
Okay, I need to go get some more EMPs.
Okay, Brother Malachi says, thing is, I'm talking mostly about TOS 60s Trek, not TNG and later or the movies. He says, that's right, we're gonna tear the gate down and go after the White Walkers, because Dumb and Dumber don't know how to make original stories.
Yes.
That was pretty
He
much
also said some-
exactly what happened.
Brother Malachi also says it's amazing how those two played themselves.
Right?
Yeah, I've never seen somebody fall from grace quite as fast as Dumb and Dumber.
I'll tell you
Benny
why
Alfred
they
Weiss.
did it. I'll tell you why they did it. Ow. It was because they were being lazy. Like, from the onset, they were being lazy. All they were doing was adapting George Martin's books and doing nothing but adapt his work. Ow.
Yeah. And they got really arrogant, and because they were getting all the credit, right?
Yeah.
They thought they were legitimately hot shit when they never were.
Yeah. Well, and there are rumors that George Martin actually deliberately put them in a box. Like, deliberately
Yeah.
didn't give them anything. And told
He
them
just-
to
he just
do it
deliberately-
themselves.
Yeah. Just to watch these idiots fail.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they were starting to get credit for, like, they were starting to get credit well beyond what he was getting.
Yeah.
They blocked the door. Could use some charges, maybe.
No need. Stand back, please.
Well, and George Martin always was a
All right.
bit huffy. He was
Which way to that
always
The guy's a
really...
Immersion chamber.
He is. Well, and he was always really sore that he never managed to get as popular as Tolkien.
Pass that tank. And all those
Well, I mean, for good reason, because Tolkien wrote genuinely better stuff.
Yeah, well, Tolkien
And
also
Martin's
didn't
like,
have...
oh,
Like the spoils of war.
Another thing, too, that a lot of people tend to ignore.
How do we stop the big tank?
Oh, Brother Malachi says they also cut out content.
go ahead.
He says they also cut out
They
content. There
did.
was tons of content in the books. They never used it all. I've
I've heard they cut out a significant amount.
They really did. Now, in fairness, there was just a significant amount of content in those books that didn't need to go on the big screen.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. There was a lot in those books that was just plain ugly and not at all fun to read. Basically, and my opinion on this still stands, I still firmly believe that those books were nothing but George Martin venting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you compare Tolkien's work with George R. R. Martin's, right?
Yeah.
Tolkien's work has an appeal to a wide audience. It's something that says, important things about the human condition. And it's not edgy incest.
Yeah, it's not the Like, it didn't even do dark fantasy well, in my opinion.
I'm just getting Condi to death. This is great.
Yeah,
This
Brother
is more like
Malachi
damaging
says they
Condi,
had
like-
decades of content if they used every single line from every single book. But no. Yeah, they cut way more than was necessary. And they used some of the wrong material, I think. Because, again, I really wasn't a fan of Song of Ice and Fire. I really didn't like it. And it was because, despite how dark some of the themes in Tolkien were, it was never ugly. And a lot of what Martin wrote legitimately was, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ow.
And also, I mean, Tolkien is... I mean, the Lord of the Rings is... A lot of it is really a story about God.
In a
It's a
way,
story about
yeah.
religion.
Swiftly.
We heal as one.
It says meaningful things about, you know, struggle.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of A Song of Ice and Fire is about Tolkien's is mostly about George R. R. Martin's weird.
Well, honestly, A Song of Ice and Fire was nothing but Martin working out his weird sexual malfunctions.
You know, he says that, but look at his tank.
There's just way too much incest in that book for it not to be Martin working through something, or
Yeah.
perhaps just writing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or just writing weird incest porn because he could. Like, that is entirely possible.
And like, far too many people have been far too okay with this.
Yeah. Well, a lot of
The
people
fact
were.
that they
A lot of people bought into it, I think. Because they thought that, like a lot of people I've known, they thought that you can't have something be deep without it being dark and horrible and, you know, whatever else. Holy crap, I ended up under the tank. Like, a lot of people have bought into that.
when that absolutely isn't the case.
Brother Malachi says, I think we started seeing this problem in 90s writing, although there was good 90s writing that had dark content that had an actual purpose and not being dark for being dark.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to use comic books as a Exhibit A heroes, they were probably kind of the canary. This is when you saw...
Yeah.
And this is when you saw the very... kind of, the very, I would say, childishly dark.
Yeah.
And so on, and... Go ahead.
Stop flinging me around, damn it. Jeez. I have been flung like a bazillion times this fight. Oh geez, Phoenix R just says, I do not want to see R.R. Martin's browser history. Yeah,
Oh,
so
God.
Brother Malachi says it's possible it even started in the 70s. Since both eras had a bit of pessimism in them, even though he never got the 90s pessimism. Spikes, darkness, and big guns everywhere. Well, big guns and a certain amount of darkness I can get behind, but...
It's almost like... Well, I'll talk... I mean, this is sort of the...
It's less
I think I've
it's
met
less
this
the it's less the dark lighting and big guns and more the like spiritual like decrepitness of the thing.
spiritual darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother Malachi says I still love
Well,
the
I mean, I
decade, but
think the-
Christ.
Yeah.
Like it's like they went out of their way to create a spiritual wasteland.
A barrier.
Which, I mean, some of that probably was intentional, because that was when you start large-scale communist of the institutions.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think what Joe Quesada has been known as a wild leftist for some time.
Yeah, well, and that's a thing too. Like people have said, like people have brought up that a lot of the SJWs that we absolutely don't want writing anything used to write good work. And a YouTuber I watch mentioned that someone had brought that up to him as well, and his thinking was, no, they were always, nihilistic, pessimistic people. They were always SJWs like that. They were just writing a good story because they couldn't get away with writing the story they wanted to write.
Well, they were being edited, right?
They were being edited, and they were not being allowed to just write trash for the sake of writing trash. They weren't being allowed to write to make a point. They were being told that, no, they couldn't do this because it would lose Marvel money.
I mean, I think there was probably a considerable amount of this dates to when, I'd call it when the inmates began running the asylum.
Yeah.
And, like, particularly looking at the comics industry, when people who were fans of comics as children in the 1990s started getting into positions where they could write storylines for them.
Yeah.
But because they're adults now, they want to write something which is
they got it into their heads that they wanted to make it more quote unquote grown up.
Yeah.
Except they didn't. They hadn't been taught how to grow up, and so what they thought was grown up was not.
Yeah, it's very juvenile, right?
Yeah.
And so you get people who are still like deeply embarrassed about the fact they like comics. It's sort of a hindbrain level.
Yeah.
And well, now they want to go make everything grown up and edgy, and they do it in the
worst possible way they could come up with. Oh my gosh, there is a Winnie the Pooh char here.
Wow. Yeah, which is with big guns and excessive miles.
He's a staff firebrand.
Interesting. Okay. Apparently, nice.
Nothing like the spoils of war.
He was when you were opening the boxes.
Gotcha. God, I've got like 3 keys right now. The end of this meta is not going to be
right.
We just can't get rid of that damn thing. Keep pushing through. I don't feel like
You know what? It's the friends you make along the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Brother Malachi says Spencer's and Hot Topic are still fun though, don't judge. I kind of miss Hot Topic before it, like from before it decided it really wasn't like a... Before it decided to be less mainstream punk and before when it was more goth and less edge for the sake of edge.
Hot Topic used to be a good story back in like the 90s.
I mean, it's not terrible now, but it's not as good as it was.
You can find cool stuff there.
Yeah. You find much less of it now than you used to.
Yeah, I don't think... God, I haven't been to Hot Topic since I was a teen.
Ow.
I love how Ephraim is trying to get.
He's trying to reason
member-
with dragon minions, like, really, dude? Everyone
Yeah, he's
who's
trying to
ever
get
fought a
dragon-
dragon knows that that won't work.
Yes. It's like Ephraim. These guys are too far gone to reason with. I'm sorry.
Waffles says, wasn't
I mean, I'm sure they-
70s darkness all barbarians, then 80s was all future dystopia, 90s darkness seemed like an attempt to capture that old darkness? R.I.P. Mortal Kombat Conquest. Some say they're still in
God.
debt today. I would not be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about accurate. It was. 90s darkness was people being nostalgic for 70s darkness.
Yeah. Well, Brother Malachi says, "Yeah, cold, but don't forget all the upbeat stuff that came out in the 80s too." Yeah, there was a decent amount of like upbeat stuff in the 80s. Although I honestly have a sneaking suspicion it was pre-1985. Because
Maybe.
around
Although, what I
like 1986, some stuff really just kind of started going down the crapper.
Yeah. Although, actually, what I sort of noticed, why I was sort of thinking about this now is, so if you look at even some very dark entertainment that came out, or I guess stuff I would consider to be dark, right?
Yeah.
Well, specifically the thing Terminator. I mean, Terminator is very dark.
Yeah, but it was hopeful. Like
also,
at the end, it didn't
yeah.
have this. It didn't have this overbearing, oppressive feel.
Yeah, well, Terminator's dark, but it's not nihilist, right?
Yeah. Well, and it didn't feel the need to drag everyone into depression either. Like it wasn't miserable, and it wasn't like vengefully you will feel bad. Unlike a lot of entertainment now. It's like
And
a lot
it's
of
not,
entertainment nowadays wants to get revenge on other people for being alive.
Yes.
Ah. Why are you throwing ice at me?
Shaman dropped.
My pet needs help. We got it. It's going down.
And my inventory's full. Alright.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Anger rising.
Apparently my inventory got full quite a bit ago.
Time to play Bloody Knuckles on the Claw of Doormat.
It's basically what you're doing with this thing, my goodness.
Oh, when you were a kid.
Huh?
You ever do that when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Like Bloody Knuckles with
I
people?
behaved more like a boy than I should have.
I got pretty good at that. We play when I was especially like I was in high school. I played some brutal fucking games with Bloody Knuckles.
Oh yeah.
Like genuinely painful.
Oh, dude, I had friends who did it not with quarters, but with dimes, and that was worse than quarters ever could have hoped or dreamed of being.
How do you do it with quarters?
You spin a quarter around. You spin a quarter around on the table, and you punch it. Like you punch it down into the table.
That's a different thing than what we did. We what we do would be you'd hold your fist out, right?
Uh-huh.
And you'd and you'd take fucking turns.
Yeah.
And if you take turns pulling your fist up and whacking the other guy in the knuckle
Oh my
with your
goodness.
fist.
We didn't do that.
And, if you and the thing was if you flinched,
yeah.
So you could pull back, right? You could pull back.
Uh-huh.
But if you flinched, and he didn't actually raise his hand,
Yeah.
then he just got to hit you in the hand as hard as he got,
Yeah.
like just nailed, wind up and shit. And
So it was like Slug Bug.
pretty much, yeah.
And then if you flinched and it wasn't a Slug Bug, you'd get 2 for flinching.
Yeah, pretty much. So you had to like wait for him to actually pull his hand back and actually. And if once you dodged it, it was your.
Yeah.
Again. Played a few games of that which were like kind of mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Like I didn't necessarily like the guy that much.
Uh-oh.
That might just be a burned-out East Coast thing.
Maybe.
I didn't realize there were other ways to play Fortnite.
Oh yeah. There were a lot of different ways to play that. We played it by punching quarters. So what you'd do was you'd spin a quarter around on a table and you'd punch it. You'd punch it flat. Ow. I'm down.
Am I going to not get down for once? For some reason I seem to have...
Oh. Dude.
Yeah, I for you.
I'm by this... I'm right in front of your nose.
Oh, sorry.
I need assistance.
I rallied off of his dead, and...
Yeah. You got downed again.
Yeah, when he died, apparently he exploded on me.
Yeah.
Retreat!
Oh god. My inventory is
Don't
full.
need those. Don't need that. Don't need that.
Nothing like the spoils of war.
It's one of those metas where you're like, oh yeah, I've got plenty of space. No, you don't.
Yeah, no, you never have plenty of space on this.
Not on this meta.
Because the game just likes giving you shit you don't need.
Yeah, and I am out of space. Got 6 memories of autumn.
The spoils of war.
Nice. I haven't unlocked that yet.
You can actually get a mastery point doing it. You do the treasure seeker achievement, and then you get into a vault. It's actually near here.
Gotcha. And that's also how you get the key sword, isn't it?
Nothing like anger rising.
Yeah, that's the key to the vault. It's apparently like a once per account thing, is you can get into that vault.
Oh, Waffles says, is that where these tiny train track knuckle scars came from?
Oh,
Brother Malachi
Huh,
says,
awesome.
toys with caps, toys that shot sparks, toys that shot missiles, even friggin' lawn darts. What idiot would stand in the path of lawn darts? That's like standing in the path of regular darts. No sense! My brother was someone who would have done that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, guarantee you, promise, cross my heart, hope to die, my brother would have done that.
I'm not surprised.
I don't think he would now, but he absolutely would have when we were kids.
That's my loot.
Oh, it's because when you're a child, everyone is just insane.
This is
Kids
true.
are nuts.
Also, my brother wouldn't do that now because he's got a fiance and a baby.
Yeah. By the way, congratulations to him.
Yeah. She's getting big now, too.
Is she?
Cold Fusion Waffle says the dead kid who invented dive bomb is who came up with it.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, that's my loot.
Brother Malachi says, "Oh, so a dummy stood in the path of a bow and arrow. Let's ban it." Yeah. I mean, on the other hand, Brother Malachi, like, gun control is a thing, and the 90s were gun control decades.
Yeah, of the stupid things my brother willingly and proudly did, that was one of the few he didn't. And wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Although my house was a very weird place, it's amazing that my brother and I didn't come out with even worse psychological issues than we did.
Yeah, your house sounds... The house you guys grew up sounds like something out of a horror.
You know what's funny is it didn't really look like it until later on. Like, it used to look kind of nice, although it was always small and really old.
Yeah.
But later on, after my great-grandma died and a lot of other stuff, like, it really looked the part, too.
It got run down.
Yeah, quite a bit, actually, too.
Sorry to hear. Although, you know, it would probably be a great candidate to burn down.
Probably.
Now that we're done with the meta, let me actually go through some of the old comments. Do you wanna fly back to Umbral Grotto and go through the comments?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good plan. I need to...
I know we had some fairly interesting stuff in the chat while we were streaming, and just
didn't manage to catch it because insanity.
Brother Malachi says, "Why don't you write a script and say it's based on a true story?" Sounds like a good idea to me.
I probably could at this stage.
Yeah, because your house was like my grandmother's house had which were like kind of creepy, but it was just
Yeah.
old rich woman's house with a bunch of hunting trophies, and like you were 5 years old, they can creep you out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, ours was a bit different. We didn't have any old hunting trophies. No one we had known ever hunted. Like, it wasn't that kind of creepy. It was an entirely different kind of creepy.
Yeah. Entirely different, and it sounds much more serious, kind of creepy.
Yeah, in a way. So like one of the things I distinctly remember was our old because my grandma had a sewing room built on the north end of the house. Like, it wasn't built, it was just like part of... It was the hallway that went toward what used to be the front door. And it was no longer a door. It was like the porch had been walled in and insulated and turned into a bedroom. So there was no longer a door there. But the hallway that went there, like, that hallway was probably the creepiest part of the house.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah. And I'm not entirely sure why.
So wait, it's a hallway leading to the old porch?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know why, though. I mean, I guess you hear sometimes, like, walk.
You hear sometimes what?
Ghosts will walk around a house, so maybe they were just transiting it.
Maybe, although it was more that hallway in particular. I never did hear footsteps. My aunt, the crazy one, she claimed to have heard footsteps regularly in that house. And it's entirely possible, although I myself never did hear footsteps. I always... So, and here was another weird thing, too. it was rooms on the ends of the house that were creepy, right? So my bedroom was on the south end of the house. That hallway was on the north end of the house.
Yeah, that's strange.
Like, I slept better in the living room and sometimes the kitchen than I did in my own bedroom or my brother's bedroom.
Huh. Because both your bedrooms were on the same side of the house. So.
No, my bedroom was on the south end of the house and his bedroom was on the north end. His bedroom was the one that... His bedroom was the one that, was the porch that was turned into a bedroom.
Okay. The hallway leading there was...
The hallway
creepy.
leading to his bedroom was a bit scary, yes.
I mean, you think it didn't necessarily have to do with the fact that it was your... The fact it was just the ends of the house versus the fact that those were the children's bedrooms.
Maybe. It is entirely possible.
I'm sick of waiting around.
It is entirely possible that it was just that those were our bedrooms, and so those were the places that became creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, your grandma's house sounds like something out of a... Yeah, you could write a movie script about it.
I probably
Straight up.
could. I probably could. Like, the house I lived in when I was a kid was just like any number of weird, creepy shit.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. Like, and the older I got, the less I slept too.
Huh. I mean, I don't blame you, Jesus.
Well, I mean, the older I got, the more, I guess the more dangerous the house felt. Like, the house itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because you were also growing up.
Yeah. Well, and the more I think about it now, the more I think it may have been, like, whatever was going on. The feeling I got may have been directly connected to, my grandmother's emotions as well, because she didn't really want us to grow up. And she couldn't really handle it when I started growing up. I started getting interested in boys. I started caring about clothes. She did not appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
I mean, well, also coming back to UFOs, like something people say sometimes when they have really weird encounters with UFOs, they sometimes feel like they were
Feel like they were what?
They feel like they were responding to them.
That's interesting.
Like they could almost sort of control what they were doing.
Huh.
Which is very strange.
That is very weird. Like I said, I've never seen a UFO myself.
Yeah. Well, also that would...
Brother Malachi says, I know it's a family house, but burn that thing down. I mean, my grandma still lives there, is the problem. She still lives there, and she's never had a problem, right? She's never, like, felt threatened or, you know, whatever else there. She's never, ever had a problem living there. And she had, not only did she not have any idea what I was talking about the last time I stayed there, and I told her, I was like, I am not staying the night with you. She was kind of offended when I told her that she needed to get her pastor to go pray over her house.
Endurance.
Yeah. Although, you mentioned that it might be actually connected to your grandmother. That might explain why, or how to put it. Because your grandmother's never been bothered there, so if it was actually connected to your grandmother herself in some way...
Yeah, I don't know. So my aunt, my crazy aunt, had a theory. She thought it was something that was actually connected to my great-grandfather, who, thank heaven, died before I was born.
Say what you want about his politics, but that
Now, there's a certain amount of sense that theory makes, because my grandmother was his favorite daughter, and he was a very, very evil person who, much like many of the court cases AW works on, he was someone who should have been slaughtered. Just slaughtered like we slaughtered cows.
Our agents just sent word.
Yeah.
There's an enemy tribune nearby. Take them out.
And there is a certain amount of sense that this thing being connected to him makes, because like I said, my grandmother was his favorite daughter. On top of that, I was a feral wolf child as a kid. Okay, I was never what anyone would call docile. And I was very much inclined to fight back no matter what. And that may have been why it does explain to a certain extent why I always felt like like I was just one action away from doing something irreversibly wrong.
Yeah.
It definitely makes a certain amount of sense. Now,
I mean, if there were bad, evil things happening there, that can leave an impression on us.
Yeah.
Not to mention, did he die in the house, or
He did not. He did not die in the house. No. He was in prison when he died.
Doesn't mean didn't come back to it.
I was gonna say, it doesn't mean that he or something worse didn't decide that they wanted to take his form for whatever reason and take up residence.
Yeah.
Phoenix R just says start charging for ghost tours.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that burning it down would be such a good idea. I'm just not convinced that burning it down would be the best idea. Just because of the way that stuff like that tends to work, if we burnt it down without, taking the proper precautions, it could set whatever that is loose.
Yeah. Well, because some of these things get bound to a location.
And then if you destroy whatever's binding them there, then they can just go wherever they please.
Yeah. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean the thing goes away, just whatever was binding away.
Yeah. And my honest worry is that if it's no longer stuck there, because I still periodically have nightmares about that house, and the last one was a little more real than I would like. My concern is that I would have issues if we just, burnt down the house.
Well, if you, because stuff like that follows people home sometimes.
Yeah.
Say what you want about his politics, but that Brian Steele catcher turns out he wasn't a spy.
Phoenix Argus says don't burn it down, send several priests.
Yeah.
Steam clean the place with holy.
Honestly, I think that it really does need, a full-on Catholic-style exorcism. I really do. I'm not Catholic, but I honestly think that that's probably the only thing that would help at this point.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
But, like I said, my grandma was she's never been bothered. And that's another thing that makes me think there's some credence to, even though my aunt is crazy, there's some credence to that theory that it was connected to my great-grandfather. Because my grandma's never been bothered, she's never felt like she was in any danger there, and she's never had an issue.
And did your great-grandfather never bother?
No, he did, but she was also his favorite. which meant that she could get away with things that no one else would have been able to, and I don't know, but I suspect that she was a lot more compliant than any of the other kids.
Yeah. Brother Malachi says, "Good luck fighting them under the present joke of a pope." There's no reason many call him the anti. Well, we're also dealing with the American Catholic Church here, and they have disagreements with Rome.
Yeah. Yeah, I have considered just going behind her back and requesting a priest or 4 go out there, but
Yeah.
here's another issue: is it's a very long drive. The place is just miles and miles away from anything that matters.
Yeah.
And it would take a long time to get there, and it would be way out of their way.
Yeah.
Although I'm still seriously considering sending someone out there, because who knows what happens when she dies.
Right.
And she is very old, and... Huh?
I mean, particularly if it's linked to her somehow. Or if it's bound to her somehow.
Yeah.
Also, the thing I find really compelling about this is you're not the only one who thinks the place is creepy.
Well, I'm not.
Because you said you're...
My crazy aunt got to a point where she would absolutely not stay there. I got to a point where I absolutely would not stay there. So far as I know, my sane aunt has never stayed there.
There's a reason why she's sane.
Maybe.
How's your brother? You ever talk to him about it?
I have not. I haven't asked him his opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it was similar.
It is entirely possible, yeah. Although, I suspect that his experiences would have been slightly different because he was a boy, and my great-grandfather was very, very straight.
Now you say that. So we know of.
Well, he didn't diddle boys. He taught boys bad things, but he didn't diddle them.
Well, I mean,
I suppose things can change in the afterlife, but no, I'm saying I'm what I mean is he probably had experiences, but they were probably slightly different.
Yeah, I understand. Brother Malachi also said, "I swear we're both ends of the house that feuding factions of ghosts."
It's possible. I mean, I don't necessarily think that what was going on there was all that recent either. Like, I think it probably started long before that.
Yeah.
I think whatever was going on there was going on probably before anyone from our family moved in there. It just doesn't seem... It seems older, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand. Well, you're part Indian.
Yeah.
Like, you're pretty significantly part Indian. I'm assuming your family's the same way.
Most of my family is not. My grandma's very much not. I got it from my dad and my grandpa's side. She married it. Oh. She wasn't. Okay.
CFW says, "Do you want a poltergeist? Because that's how you get."
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh God.
Like,
speaking of getting poltergeists, I don't think I've told you this story.
Probably not.
Let's put it this way: don't ever go to the New Orleans Voodoo Museum. And if you do, don't buy anything there.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. because I went to the New Orleans Voodoo Museum when I was moving between El Paso and Fayetteville, North Carolina, and so I thought this was going to be like a museum, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, no, it's a goddamn voodoo temple they charge admission for.
Oh, jeez.
That place is like they are worshiping things there.
Oh dear. Yeah, don't don't do that. So
Yeah, it's just like
I would, but I don't know my dad's family. Like, my dad had absolutely no part in my life, not at any point. He basically knocked up my mom and fucked off. So, there's not really a lot of options I have.
yeah. Although, because you know what the tribe is, you could go ask the tribe.
Yeah.
Although you're not a member, so they might be pissed.
No, I'm not. I'm not a member, and it might be. It might be because no one in my family registered like ever, so I don't know how they would take that. Also, the tribe that I know for sure I'm related to was Eastern, not. Because most of my Indian is Cherokee.
Yeah.
And our house is very West Coast. Like, my grandma's house is very West Coast. Like, the
Gotcha.
closest thing I could probably come to it would probably be Klamath Indians, which we're not related to at all.
Yeah. I forget what the hell Indian tribe I'm related to. It's a tribe in Minnesota.
Gotcha.
A very obscure tribe that nobody would think of as a stereotypical tribe.
That's funny.
Um,
in a way, yeah. So I'm not 100% sure what tribe my dad was related to. Like, he's like Mexican and Native American, and I don't know what tribe.
Like my dad knows what tribe it is. I keep on asking him, and then I keep on forgetting what it is because
because it's a name that is just not heard.
well, it's not like meaningful.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that I am actually as Indian as Elizabeth claims to be, which means I guess maybe I should start pretending to be a Native American.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
It's like, yeah,
you say that, but it can get when relationship and all this is as muddy as mine is, it can be awfully hard to get somebody to really consider it their responsibility to help.
yeah.
It can be when it's as muddy as it is, it can be really, really difficult.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, they're not even. I'm not even sure it would necessarily be their problem.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, the tribe that I know for sure I'm related to has no connection to the place.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be if it was older than the house necessarily. It would be whatever was their problem.
I'm not sure it's older than the house. I think it's older than my great-grandfather. Although it is entirely possible that it is older than the house, because the house is built on a hill that sat next to and slightly above what used to be the city landfill before the town we lived in became a ghost town.
That's nice. I'm hoping they didn't dig up some Indian ritual ground and start burying their trash there.
I have no idea. I do know that there were entire cars buried out there.
Yeah. You know what actually if there was a landfill out there, what occurs to me, there might be like murder victims buried out there.
Right. That was kind of the ongoing theory between me and my brother. Like, he never said that he had any, like, experiences, but he did say that, oh, so there's cars buried out there. I'll bet there's murder victims buried out there. I was like, gee, that's a nice thought.
Well, it's like remember one story I read where what the hell was it? I think it's a bridge in Philadelphia or something where they
Are you talking about the bridge that had like murder victims? Like,
well, it wasn't necessarily murder victims, but so the cops were chasing a dude in Philadelphia, and he threw his gun off the bridge. And so they were like, okay, well, we're gonna go get the murder weapon here to put when we put this guy on trial. So they dredged the river. They found like 18 guns.
Oh, good lord.
Just like under that part of the bridge.
I'm thinking about it. He says, well, when your grandma passes, you consider asking a local college to dig there. Yeah, I'm considering it. We don't have one extremely close by. Oh, yeah. He says, what about the football field that supposedly has Hoffa's remains?
Didn't Mythbusters go there with ground penetrating radar?
I believe they did, although it's been so long since I saw the episode, I don't remember what, if anything, they found.
Yeah, I don't think they found anything.
Oh, he says they didn't find Jack. But still. Oh, and he says allegedly. Yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't dig, so even though they said they didn't find anything, considering they couldn't dig, I mean, I suppose there is a chance there could be something there.
Yeah. I barely even know who the hell Jimmy Hoffa was. Wasn't he like a mobster or something?
Something like that.
Some dude who I think was super connected to the Teamsters.
You gonna mess with the mob? Hell no! He was a Teamster boss.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Also, I'm really hoping that
Oh, they think he pissed some mobsters off. You know what? It's really easy to piss off mobsters, so it is entirely possible.
yeah, not to mention that some of those unions are super duper connected to the mob.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that occurs to me is if your great grandfather was into certain kinds of crimes, he might have been into certain other kinds of crimes, which were and might have wanted a place to hide the results of some of those crimes.
Right.
Like, is there anything buried under the floorboards of that house?
Right. I'm honestly not sure. I do know that at one point a cat had a litter of kittens under there, and the mother cat got killed somehow. We never did find her, so the kittens starved to death.
That's messed up.
We couldn't so there was enough space that we could kind of see them, but there wasn't enough space that we could actually get to them properly.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Well, it's like Farv and his endless cat problems.
Luckily, that only happened like once.
Yeah.
We didn't have endless cat issues ourselves.
Hoping you brick that up or something. Put some concrete down there.
No, we just didn't have any cats decide that was a good place to have kittens again.
Probably for good reason. There were a bunch of bodies down there.
Right. Okay, Waffles says that he was the leader of them and he wasn't so close at the end when they made him vanish.
Huh. Brother Malachi says those poor cats, yeah.
Yeah. Like, so the actual entry point to get under the house was boarded up and nailed shut. And it took my brother and I too long to break in. By the time we were actually able to break in there, the kittens were dead.
Well, they might have been. They're depending on the state of the condition of the mother. They might have been in bad shape to begin with.
It's entirely possible. We thought she got hit on the road, but considering we never did see her or find her, we just weren't 100% sure.
Yeah. Do you have like coyotes around there or anything?
We did, yeah. We were out in the sticks, so there were coyotes and all kinds of other things around there, like eagles, hawks. And hawks will eat cats too. So will owls.
Yeah, my folks lose cats more regularly than we'd like.
Well, they know what to do about it. Keep your cats inside. It's not that hard.
That's not really the way my parents operate.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't like losing the cats, they know what to do about it, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, it's the... My folks operate under big boy rules for the house cats, which is they have a revolving cast with them, and occasionally one of them gets eaten by coyotes.
Yeah. My,
They're and they... I'm pretty sure they take our cats.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of easy to catch. Generally speaking. Probably not more than a snack, though. Cats aren't that big.
Yeah.
For a long time, my grandma just plain didn't want animals in the house. My great-grandma deciding that she wanted a kitten inside was what finally changed my grandma's mind about that. Well, because my great-grandma grew up with animals in the house all the time. Like, she always had a dog in her house.
Uh-huh.
But it took her telling one of us to go bring the kitten in to get my grandma to loosen up on the animal in the house thing. Animals are dirty, they belong outside, apparently.
Like, I grew up in a house full of animals. Now, that might be part of the reason why I don't own any pets. None.
Dogs in the house is my problem. Dogs are smelly.
I'm a cat person. I really am not a dog person at all.
I'm more of a cat person
Much
myself.
my parents, I particularly grew up with for most of my life, my parents had a particularly dumb
person I've heard talk about Husky Black Lab mix and say they're incredibly stupid. Apparently that is just a particularly stupid mix. Just like in general.
Yeah, like that. Nothing good comes out of that mix. It has the intelligence of a. It gets the.
It gets the stupidity of the lab and the obnoxiousness of the husky.
Yeah, it's got the lab's intelligence and the husky's neuroticism.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, and like I said, you're like the second person I've heard say that. Because apparently someone else had done that, like, gotten a lab husky mix, expecting, the smarts of the husky and the chill of the lab. Well, no. No.
No,
that is not what they got.
The worst qualities of both breeds. The best dog I've ever seen in my life was a husky. Actually.
Was a what?
A husky.
Oh. Yeah, if a husky is well trained, they're really nice dogs.
Oh God, this husky was incredibly well trained. He belonged to a girl who worked at the college I went to undergrad at.
Uh-huh.
And she also worked at worked at like an outdoor store in town.
Mm-hmm.
And this dog they would just let him loose in the store, and he would just hang out and be friendly with all the visitors.
Yeah.
It's like with customers in the store. Like, He just sit there and look at you, and you think there's a stuffed animal.
Waffle says, AW said dumb, and I was thinking, oh, it was a lab.
Yep. I don't know what the hell that is with black labs. They were...
Well, and you know what's really funny about that? The mix is even dumber than your standard lab.
Yeah.
I don't know why. How long have we been going? I don't know.
2 hours plus.
Yeah, we've been going a while.
11:30.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, you guys aren't the only ones who've said I could, like, write a movie script based on my grandma's old house. In fact, our friend Revan, who runs Potato Revan, he said he wanted to watch a movie about my life. I'm like, no one needs that. But he was funny. He's like, you should write a movie script and, like, send it to somebody and have them make it.
Gonna be a big break in Hollywood.
No. I don't need a big break in Hollywood. Of all the things I would like, that is the thing I do not need or want. Okay, no worries. Yeah, I'll check my DMs in a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, let me, because we had some really interesting stuff earlier in the stream. Let me address some of our earlier comments before we close out, because the chat was going earlier.
Yeah.
Had a lot of engagement. Let's see.
I don't even
Brother
know where
Malachi.
this starts.
I'm just going to the top.
Okay, that works.
Phoenix Argus says champion events, then mythical events. Well, yeah, that would be interesting because, like, there are legendary champions, right? What if they had something that was over legendaries?
Yeah, that would scare me, actually. I'd be like, I don't know if I want to fight that.
If you had, like, something that was world boss tier but was, like, an actual mob and not a scripted thing you had to beat on,
Yeah.
that would be terrifying.
That would be terrifying, and it might turn into a disaster very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Because
Probably
you'd have to command her up to fight it, and not a lot of people, like, you wouldn't get near the number of people for something like that as you'd get for a world boss, and it would be awfully hard to kill it.
Yeah. God, imagine if you had something that was like the size of a world boss, but was a mob with actual AI instead of sort of the scripting they have.
Yeah.
Like if you just had to fight like the Shatterer as a proper mob with AI.
CSA had a joke before he went quiet. He says, what's a Sylvari's favorite band? The Roots.
Oh god.
That was right above Phoenix Argus going fertilizer play.
Yeah.
That's still disgusting, sir.
Phoenix Argus asked what the char eat.
Oh, yeah. I do
We
believe
answered
we
that.
answered that one. Well, where did it go? There was one here. There was a pretty good one from Brother Malachi. Where did it go?
CFW is talking about Sylvari sexuality.
Brother Malachi says, well, the defunct Alien Scientist channel proposed the triangles are human attempts to reverse engineer alien tech. The problem is people are more concerned about the coof, paying bills, putting food in their guts, possible societal collapse, etc. They're kind of overwhelmed with other shit at the moment.
Well, you know what, speaking of alien tech, I've been to the Roswell Museum a couple of times, and one of the things they do a very good job of pointing out there is that the I guess quote unquote official account of events there does not make any sense.
Yeah.
Right. The Air Force came out and they said, oh well we know what happened. This was people confusing some radar experiments we conducted in 1948 with some dummy parachuting experiments that we conducted in 1958. which
Yeah,
neglects
no.
the fact there were detailed newspaper articles put out that day,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
And
in this world where
not just tabloid rag articles either, like actual news articles.
yeah, no, it was the local newspaper was writing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were doing actual reporting on there was a flying saucer crash. And I mean, in this day where we know that UFOs are real objects, the notion that something could have crashed back in 1947 and things got recovered,
Yeah.
that suddenly doesn't seem so far fetched.
Yeah. And he had a comment about us when we were talking about how if someone is smart or appears to be smart, people are more likely to believe them. He says, "Call to authority. Unfortunately, it works." Yeah, it does.
Well, Phoenix Argus has also an interesting point, which is UFOs changing in shape from disc shape to angled. He thought that had to do with radar technology. I'm not sure that's necessarily it, but I'll tell you, advances in radar technology have absolutely played a significant role in this recent developments because the modern radars are active electronically scanned array radars are much more sensitive than old radars are.
Yeah.
Than old style passive scan radars.
Yeah.
Part of this is because we're making radars very sensitive so they can try to detect like stealth aircraft and stuff.
Right.
But something that's also happening is we're starting to pick up a lot of these weird, screwy objects on radar frequently when we weren't previously doing that because we weren't using radars that were sensitive enough.
Yeah. Well, and that's why because they're noticing stuff out in space too. Like there are theories, and a lot of the scientific community has been like buzzing about this for a while. Some are still fairly certain that it's not real, but people think that there is another planet out past Pluto.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. I think there's like an Earth-sized planet out in the and actually I think this was derived from a statistical analysis of objects in the Kuiper Belt.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause
they were saying that objects in the Kuiper Belt were behaving like there was another planet out there with its own field of gravity.
Yeah, I think there's a phenomenon called the Kuiper Cliff.
Yeah.
Where there's no objects past a certain point. They think that's because there's something out there that's sweeping them.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you look at the distribution of sizes of Kuiper Belt objects, statistically, there should be an object out there the size of Mars. Like,
one would think, but there isn't.
Well, not that we found yet.
Yeah.
Because it's dark out there, and it's hard. I mean, even very large objects out there, it's dark space. They're not lit very well. And also, I do sort of get the feeling there isn't a lot of like active astronomy being dedicated towards this.
Probably not, and they're probably not, and they're probably being discouraged. I remember my my community college astronomy teacher, because I took an astronomy class. I think I told you this. I took an astronomy class because I needed an elective credit.
Yeah.
And this guy was, I would say, closer to being a real astronomer than a lot of astronomers these days.
Turns out he wasn't a spy. Say what you
He was always so excited about like space exploration and all this stuff, and he's like, it's really too bad that we aren't funding anything even remotely close to actually looking into space. Like, we're not trying.
Yeah, I mean, the extent to which space exploration really got, especially like manned space exploration, really got shut down Yeah, after the 70s.
Yeah.
It was really remarkable.
Well, I think it was shut down on purpose. I think that somebody found something that they didn't want, getting publicity or something.
Well, I mean, again, this sort of comes back to the unpleasant truth here is that we know these things are real.
Yeah.
We don't know what they are, but we know they're real. They're concrete objects.
That can be touched, seen,
Yeah.
possibly tasted and smelled.
They're concrete objects that we've had fighter aircraft try to dogfight the damn things. Not very successfully.
Oh yeah, Brother Malachi had one at around 10. He says, still one of his favorite tales was early 80s Alaska. JAL pilots seeing a flying craft bigger than an aircraft carrier. It dwarfed their transport jet.
Yeah, I think I remember. I remember hearing about it. Now, I know I follow a fighter pilot channel on YouTube. It's called Ward Carroll. He was an old F-14 pilot, but I know he talked about this a little bit, and he thought it was one of our things, which I don't think that's plausible. It's just based on the instinctive rejection of, well, it can't possibly be aliens. Well, is there any indication that we have technology like this? That any human has this kind of technology? No, there isn't.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean...
Here's another one we missed from Waffles. He says, I've constantly seen 2 lit objects in the sky, one in the northwest and one in the northeast, that flash like planes but never move, all night long, just staying in the sky. He's taken to kind of ignoring them.
Interesting. It might be drones or something, I know.
I mean, it's possible, although all night.
I mean, it doesn't, not necessarily recreational drones, but if I don't know. I don't know where CFW lives, but...
He's kind of Portlandish area.
Does he? Well, because that's actually sort of the tech coast area. And I know, what the hell is it? Is it Google or Facebook or something?
Google has a server center there, but the manufacturer that's there is actually Intel.
Yeah, because I know that there's projects out there to use like high altitude drones to.
I don't know if
large area.
I don't know if Google has one of their satellites there. I know that Google has a data server there.
Yeah. Well, and also they don't necessarily have to. It'd just be airspace, right? They could have flown it there from somewhere else.
Yeah.
That does make me wonder if it's somebody's high altitude drone project.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, you might be able to find it on CFW if you're still listening. You might want to go check like FlightAware.com because there's a lot of websites out there that track aviation traffic. You might be able to actually find it if it has a transponder on it. I'm aware that the aliens generally are not polite enough to squawk on a transponder, but if it's a human project, it probably has a transponder.
Yeah.
Brother Malachi says you think Stargate is an attempt to soften the blow on disclosure. I'd be. Their military advisors might have had that in the back of their minds.
That is entirely possible. And I caught the blueprint one.
Yeah, that's Blue Book, not Blueprint. But yeah, the conclusion was basically most of this is mistaken identity, and there's some percentage we can't explain now, but it's mistaken identity anyways, so we don't care.
Yeah. And he says typo.
Yeah. Blue Book typo,
Apparently, Star Trek did actually have some consultation with NASA and relied heavily on science theory. Yeah.
Yeah, Brother Malachi was saying Dumb and Dumber. I love how we don't even call him Benioff and Weiss. We just call him Dumb and Dumber.
Well, I mean, they are Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, they rushed to failure on Game of Thrones because they're going to get that Star Wars contract, and then after Game of Thrones crashed and burned, those people got unpersoned by Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was because due to their failure, everyone saw Game of Thrones for the absolute dumpster fire that it was. Like, from its inception.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, yeah, you're completely correct. It was the scales fell from people's eyes, and they were like, "Oh my god!" The only
What
good
have we
thing
been
about
watching?
this was, yeah, the only good thing about this was George R. R. Martin's stuff, and these two idiots were not value added. They were in fact value subtracted.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people, I think, saw what a disaster just A Song of Ice and Fire itself was, too. Thanks in no small part to Benioff and Weiss.
Yeah. Well, and it became sort of acceptable to trash on it. Right? Nobody's going to defend it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Brother Malachi said it's amazing how upbeat Tolkien was compared to Martin since he was a World War I veteran. I'd also like to add that George R. R. Martin was a trash dodger, so...
Yeah. Well...
He says he claims he was a conscientious objector, and I'm sure that's what he told the army, but he sure writes a lot of books about war for him to be a particularly serious pacifist.
Right.
Like, he was a Vietnam conscientious objector, and there were a lot of conscientious objectors in Vietnam who I don't think that would have flown in World War II.
Right.
Like, World War II, you were a conscientious objector, they made you a medic.
Yeah. Waffles says Season 8 was about how important a properly trained and well-budgeted lighting crew is needed.
Yes. Absolutely. Also, oh my god, they spent like how much money did they spend shooting that episode? They didn't light properly.
Was it like multiple millions of dollars? And not only did they not light it properly, they had absolutely no concept of how to properly use the VFX they had.
Yeah, and
Or
that you
any
saw
of their assets.
You saw these articles out about it afterwards about like, oh, this is gonna look really good on DVD, like just mass media shill cope. Well, after Dumb and Dumber put an episode up in front of a global audience that wasn't lit properly.
Yeah.
Because they shot it at night without lighting.
Yeah. Well, and I think they were trying to hide some things. Because they were clearly trying to hide the absolute wreck their set was in.
Yeah.
They clearly hadn't done... Like, the actors didn't care anymore because so many of them had been so screwed over. And they were clearly trying to hide the absolute disaster area the set had become. I mean, they still had some goof-ups. Freaking Daenerys Targaryen still had a freaking Starbucks coffee cup in one of the shots.
Yeah. That was hilarious. I'm surprised they didn't just go with it.
That was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. And yet they tried to explain it away. They were so desperate.
I don't think they tried... they made a joke about it. I know. I don't think they could try to explain it away, but I know they made a joke about it afterward.
Yeah. I think they made a joke and moved on, hoping people would forget.
Yeah, which it's
No one
really...
forgot.
It was like right on the damn table in front of her.
Yeah. Brother Malachi says, your comments did bring up some food for thought. 90s would be a good 20 to 30 years after the Frankfurt School takeover of the late 60s academia.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the 90s was when the first generation of people who went to... Yeah, well, because the 90s was when people who went through school in the 70s started getting a lot of power.
He says, I beg to differ. 86 and 87 were my favorite years in the decade. Of course, the fall may have started then, but it didn't show. Yeah, so it only showed in certain places, and mostly only in comic books, I would say.
Yeah, well, it's kind of remarkable, I think, the extent to which comics are like the cultural canary in the coal mine. They're very, like,
He says he
of
doesn't
culture.
find it a coincidence that that's the year the G.I. Joe movie bombed, and they canceled their contract with Sunbow, and eventually did that shitty show with DIC.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also 86 was the year that, because the Transformers series started in 1984. And it ran for 2 seasons, 2 years. And then 86, they did the 86 movie, which was probably better in theory than it ultimately ended up being in practice, because it was the first installment that Marvel had input in. It was also the installment in which, thanks to a combination of Hasbro telling the studio that they had to sell more toys and Marvel telling the studio they had to mature the franchise, that was the point at which they decided to kill off almost the entire main cast, both Autobots and Decepticons.
Yeah. Which I'm not. I mean, I can't even explain that kind of decision. You're like, okay, these are the characters that made this franchise popular. We're gonna kill them all off. What?
Yeah, well, and it really, really made parents mad to the point where the studio, in fact, brought Optimus Prime back. Multiple times, no less. And it took them forever to get it even somewhat acceptable, because they brought him back, killed him off a second time, and then brought him back again. And it was kind of a clusterfuck. Like, Season 3 and the Rebirth episodes, which they called Season 4, but were really just 3 one-hour episodes, everything after the movie was a disaster. Like, there were some elements that showed up after the movie that I kind of liked, but...
Well, it's remarkable the extent to which all these 80s franchises kind of got driven into the ground.
Yeah, especially when they had, like, a really good thing going.
Yeah, they're all just these legendary franchises, which people still milk for nostalgia these days. Mm-hmm. They're still valuable. And yet, but if you look at their original runs, they got destroyed within 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it kind of makes IDW's handling of absolutely all of them even more of a crime.
Yeah. Also, how did IDW end up with the IP for all of these?
Yeah, that's weird to me, because, so originally My Little Pony didn't have a comic at all, G.I. Joe had a comic, so did Transformers, but they were both Marvel. Well, Marvel was, particularly Marvel Transformers, was such a mess that they fairly quickly stopped being able to sell it. Like, they stopped being able to sell the books fairly quickly.
Didn't Marvel subcontract a lot of their stuff to IDW?
I don't know if they did at the time, although they may have. I know that they outsource a lot now. But before that, they sold the licenses to IDW.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, Hasbro has been perfectly willing to let IDW do whatever with the comics, so long as they keep it out of, like, animated media.
Yeah, although, like, Hasbro itself hasn't been doing this is a little bit of a more recent problem, but I mean, for the last 10 years-ish, Hasbro has not been doing a good job at their core business.
Yeah. I mean, the toys are still profitable. They're still extremely profitable.
But I mean, they have distribution problems.
Yeah. Well, they've always had, though. This goes back to the 80s. They had My Little Ponies, like, and specific ponies, no less, that you could only get in certain countries. Like, there was one pony that you could only get in Italy. There was another one you could only get in France.
Yeah.
Like, they've always done this. And then some
well,
of
yeah,
the...
but I mean, it's not like. I mean, it's not like it. My understanding of how it is recently, where they just don't ship enough product.
Yeah.
Like, period. They don't even things they know are going to be popular. They don't produce.
They still did a bit of that in the 80s, although not to the extent that they do now. Like, it was more noticeable with My Little Pony, though, than it was with G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Yeah.
And they would do that.
I'm not sure if they maybe tested that business model on My Little Pony, because the people who would have blown the whistle on it weren't collecting My Little Pony stuff. Then
not at the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
CFW says my grandparents' house was Dartmouth Manor from Hitman 3. Is that what I'm picturing? Pretty much. It was in a nice, really wealthy suburb of Logansport, Indiana.
Brother Malachi says the workers and the scalpers are sniping them. Yeah, they are. A lot. Like, so they updated their masterpiece mold for the Seekers, for the jets, recently, and Mike put all 3 of the main ones on pre-order. Well, he had to do that within the first 30 minutes just to make sure we'd get them.
Oh yeah, those things just sell out instantly. I know, like, Hasbro has their own, basically their own portal for, it's like a paid shopping service they'd run almost.
He's talking about G.I. Joe. Sorry, I missed that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
no,
G.I. Joe is as bad. G.I. Joe is every bit as bad as Transformers. So our friend Farv was trying to get their collector's edition of the Baroness. Do you know where he had to go to get that action figure?
Didn't you have to, like, buy it overseas on eBay or something?
Yes. He didn't buy it on eBay. Owen found it for him at the comic book shop that's in Waterford.
Oh,
and
nice.
Farv got it there.
Nice. Yeah.
For
nuts.
interestingly less than retail price, but it was the very last one, and he was terrified he wouldn't get it, and she actually came in a few weeks ago. Like, he actually got her.
Well, you know what actually occurs to me is, so Hasbro knows, because they have intelligent people working in their sales department.
Yeah.
They know that stuff gets scalped at significantly above market value.
Yeah.
You know what actually occurs to me? I wonder how much of this is Hasbro doing it themselves.
It's entirely possible. And G.I. Joe, well, part of...
Because they know that certain things are things that are only bought by collectors, right? They're not actually selling toys to children. They're selling toys to adult collectors who will go the extra mile and pay a lot and pay significant premiums over market price just to have the one thing they want.
Yeah. Well, Brother Malachi has an interesting point. He says, even with the upcoming woke Snake Eyes movie, G.I. Joe is so much worse than Transformers to get a hold of. He can take a guess. He had to search several Walmarts for months, the Walmart website, and a Toy and Comic Expo to get all of set 1 through 3. And that took months. And they had just released 2 figures for Series 4. Yeah, so here's the thing. Transformers has actually been losing value since the Bay movies started.
Yeah.
And
probably for good reason, because the Bay movies do a terrible job of presenting the franchise.
Yeah, well, they do a terrible job of presenting the franchise, and they just do a terrible job of presenting the characters as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing, like, based on the Bay movies, name a Transformer who is not...
Insane.
Well, who is not Optimus, Bumblebee, or... Yeah, who really is not Optimus or Bumblebee.
Yeah. Well, and Bay had no issues making up characters, too.
Yeah. Which tells me he didn't give the slightest damn about the franchise.
Well, he didn't. So when he was first asked to make those, he said he didn't want to make a stupid toy movie. Those were his exact words. He thought he was too important to make what he called a stupid toy movie. Oh yeah, Brother Malachi says his last film was a raw military history film, which he probably screwed up much like he did Pearl Harbor. Yeah.
What was his last movie?
No, he's talking about the last Transformers movie. The last Transformers movie was called The Last Night. Well, and here's the thing. I've been saying this about the Bay movies for a while now. They chose, deliberately I think, to cannibalize the original 84 series in the worst possible way. But yeah, Transformers has been losing value as a franchise ever since those movies. G.I. Joe was actually starting to go back up in value because there was an animated movie that came out, I want to say 2013. It was supposed to be a pilot. It was supposed to be a pilot episode for a TV show they wanted to do, but it didn't end up being that because they couldn't get funding. But that actually kind of brought G.I. Joe back a little bit.
Dead.
And it started G.I. Joe, the G.I. Joe franchise started actually making money.
Yeah. Okay, so there's been some good G.I. Joe stuff put out recently.
Yeah. Now, the IDW comics for G.I. Joe are in shambles. Like, they turned the Dreadnoks into fucking communal farmers. It was weird and scary. Also, there's a transgender Joe now.
Yeah, I know Zach reviews those occasionally, and they just look like the cringiest shit imaginable.
Brother Malachi wants to know, do you think Hasbro is trying to Hail Mary G.I. Joe because the Transformers had crashed into an iceberg under Captain Bay? And they're struggling to do a new My Little Pony? Yeah, so I don't know if they can top Friendship is Magic.
It probably can't. Like, Friendship is Magic had some secret sauce in it.
Yeah.
It's a...
Well, I'll tell you a lot of what made Friendship is Magic good.
Somebody who's named Lauren Faust.
Yes. And she worked on the original.
Yes, and she was a genuine fan of it, and she was also like a genuinely legit creator.
Yeah. Well, she created the original designs for Twilight Sparkle, and I want to say Cotton Candy and the original Applejack. And she incorporated a lot of those designs into the new ponies that were named after them.
Yeah. She did a wonderful job.
Yeah, she really did. She kind of mixed so for Rarity's design, she mixed Twilight Sparkle and I forget which other pony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Malachi says the thing is you can tell Faust loved the franchise. And also, like, Faust didn't... Yeah. Hasbro do better to yeet IDW into the abyss? Yes, they would. I'm not sure why they haven't.
I don't know why they haven't taken their... Although I have a theory. I think they're letting IDW do what they want so long as they don't fuck with toy sales. Because you notice, and I mentioned this to someone else a while back, when you do accidentally see an IDW character pop up with an official toy, the toys don't sell. Like, they did an official toy of Windblade for their Cyberverse Adventures line. She didn't sell. Like, and they pulled the figure a bit later. Like, you cannot get her. Like, she doesn't exist. She may as well not exist as a character or a toy or anything else. Like, the only figures you can get of Windblade now are third party. And she's not the only one. Like, they don't even do, if they can get out of it, they don't even do Drift. Like, they won't even make figures for Drift.
Yeah.
They do not do IDW or Bay characters. At all.
Brother Malachi says he thinks the IDW has dirt on people because members of the IDW staff are being investigated for money laundering.
wouldn't surprise me.
Honestly, given how few copies some of these comics sell, it seems to me like the only reason some of these things are in production is to launder money. Like,
yeah. Well, and here's another thing too that we've been meaning to talk about for a while. A couple, like, at the beginning of 2020, or no, close to the middle of 2020, Marvel actually shunted a lot of money IDW's way and bailed them out, because I don't know if anyone watching at the moment remembers, but IDW was not only projected but predicted to go completely under, go bankrupt, all their licenses sold off by the end of 2020.
yeah, like IDW was not making money
happen
through their cash on hand, and they were, there was no way somebody was going to give, right?
Yeah.
They were not a profitable business. The company was on their last legs, and Marvel supposedly bailed them out.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing: if you know a little bit about how corporations operate, corporations don't bail out their competitors out strings attached, and these strings are generally called equity. So what we've been thinking is that Disney, probably operating through their wholly owned subsidiary Marvel, it may have somewhat stealthily acquired an ownership stake in IDW. And that would have significant implications because IDW owns the rights to a lot of stuff.
Brother Malachi says, dude, I could probably write a better Windblade and the Edgelord sports car with the sword. And then he says, not sure if I'd just make them joke characters or have them start arrogant, get knocked on their ass, and learn from it, like Hot Rod did in the movie. Problem was, they made him too mopey during his brief tenure as leader. It made sense, he was a teen forced to lead, but it didn't sell.
Yeah. Brother Malachi says, yeah, notice the GoBots never got a fair shake after being bought out. They had some good characters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Brother Malachi says, yeah, I know, but I love a challenge. Yeah, I don't know. I have an issue with Windblade because she's every fucking Mary Sue fanfic writer's wet dream. She literally is. I just hate that character just because of that.
Wasn't Windblade actually a fan-created character?
She was.
Like a fan
Okay, she was a contest character, and she was also created by committee. What they did was put out a contest, right, for a convention, for San Diego Comic-Con, I believe. And instead of choosing one winner, they chose several. I forget, it was like 4 or 5 different winners, and they took elements from each winner and just conglomerated it into one annoying, obnoxious, hateful character.
If it makes you feel better, that's how the Army designs camouflage.
Ew. That is such a brilliant idea, and it's such a brilliantly horrible idea.
Minor scandal.
Waffles sees Windblade, wonders why is Transformers selling a Power Ranger monster action figure.
Yeah, sounds about right, CW. Well, we just ticked over 3 hours on this.
Yeah.
Considering we probably have enough material for, I don't know, 10 streams, you want to call it here?
Yeah, I think we should. Because if you once get me started going over Transformers trash that has been shat out in the last few years, we'll be here all night.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And we've kind of already been here all
Brother
night.
Malachi goes, who's the lady in the human kabuki paint? Yeah, she's just a geisha. Like, it was... That's all Windblade is, and she's also a very evil character, in my opinion. Like, she's arrogant. Like, she mixes the worst, like, the most annoying qualities of Rodimus with none of his charm. She's an arrogant bitch. And, by the way, I happen to know that the woman writing her initially wanted her to be gay with Chromia, but since the artist didn't like that, she for mystifying reasons, shipped her with Starscream, except it didn't work because she was still in her I want to write a gay fanfic mindset, so she half-assed it, and it was pretty painfully obvious that it was half-assed.
Wait, so she not only got the chance to make a canon ship with Starscream, which I'm sure every fanfiction writer in the universe is squealing over right now. But she fucked it up.
Most of them are not squeeing. I thought everybody was like... So okay. The worst of straight fanfiction trash, like the worst of straight shipping fanfiction trash, yes, they're squeeing. The worst of the worst fanfiction trash were very put out that Windblade didn't end up with Chromia, and worse, Starscream didn't end up with Megatron. The reading was incredible.
That's... Like, do these people listen to themselves?
No,
like,
they don't.
What is it like inside these people's heads?
They don't listen to themselves. I guarantee you they don't.
Like, it must be so... I don't know, cozy in there. I don't even...
It's probably
just
full of blood and dead baby animals.
Yeah, just like,
my brain tells me that these people just are, that there's nothing in their brains except dead baby animals.
Yeah, like there's just... It's just empty. It's like being in a fucking empty auditorium.
I'd rather have that empty auditorium.
Yeah. The level of... The lack of self-awareness here is just astonishing.
You have no idea. Like I said, some were squeeing, but it was the straight shippers. The vast majority of shipping trash, there are not straight shippers, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, like, I think, like, okay, you got a chance to finally ship your basically your fucking OC with Starscream. Like, that sounds choice.
Dude, if I had that option, you can damn well bet I would have done it right. And,
right, yeah.
like, the fact that she not only half-assed it because she was throwing a frickin' hissy fit, but Windblade is just such an obnoxious character, just in general, that I cannot see any of the other characters liking her. And also, there's just not enough room in that relationship for that much arrogance. We put up with it from Starscream because we know him. We're not gonna put up with it from Windblade because she's a fucking bitch.
Well, the other thing is, like, it's a toxic relationship in the right? Because with somebody like Starscream, who is dealing with who's a pain in the ass, like, that isn't how you get a healthy relationship.
Dude, I was kind of hoping she'd die at the end of Till All Are One. I really was. She didn't.
That's a shame. And it's unfortunate that IDW probably will not hire you to write as far as in the future, because you'd probably do a much better job than the bums they have working on it right now.
Phoenix Arches says, actually, if it were an empty auditorium, they'd be able to hear themselves. That auditorium is filled with dead bodies, and the odor is starting to leak out of their mouths and ears.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like, the amount of reading I actually saw on, like, some of the fanfiction forums I frequented before I noped the fuck out of that shit was incredible. I shit you not. It was amazing. And honestly kind of beautiful. It almost made me root for Windblade.
Tight.
As much as I hate that character, it legit almost made me root for her.
God.
Because they were screeching about the one thing that would have been worse.
Starscream and Megatron.
Ugh.
That's terrifying. How? Why?
Because people are just horrendously sadistic, and I hate them all.
This is like, yeah. Phoenix's comment about it being an auditorium filled with dead bodies sounds accurate. Yeah,
Like
sounds
I
very
said,
accurate.
it's their brains are filled with blood and the corpses of thousands of baby animals. Like cute baby bunny rabbits and
Say what
kittens
you
and
want about
puppies.
his politics.
Yes.
Suit yourself. I jinxed
No worries, we're gonna be getting off of here soonish, Brother Malachi.
Yeah,
we've been going for way too long already.
Because we got talking about
Terrible
bullshit.
things. Things that we would rather forget exist, but which are unfortunately forever burned into our brains.
Yeah, we moved on from Katala's house being haunted to the Transformers franchise being haunted, which
I mean, it's the same level of fuckery, so what's the difference?
live in a haunted world, just put it that way.
Yeah,
Ephraim's the only one of them.
I guess everything has its demons. Some are just in the
Yeah.
form of physical entities who should probably be sent to a slaughterhouse.
One final note here, I do really like out of the sort of the Guild Wars design for levels is they take into account the that during a military campaign, you're going to have forces from one faction using stuff that was built by other factions.
Yes.
Like, most of the architecture in Drizzlewood is Norn architecture. 'Cause
Yeah.
this era was Norn until the Dominion invaded.
Yeah.
The
And-
civilian architecture is Norn.
Yeah. All the civilian architecture is Norn. Basically the stuff that is Char is all new.
Yeah, all the Char stuff is like tents.
Yeah.
It's
Tents
very
and
temporary.
well, I mean they did have to build a launch pad for helicopters.
Yeah, they probably have prefab.
Yeah. Probably. I mean the Char do seem to be the type to prefab things.
Yeah. Even the launch pad over here is that they sort of took a flat spot in the cliff and it looks like they kind of level it out.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all they did.
I'm ready to fight. What are we waiting
Also,
around
this
for?
helicopter entertains me to no end, and I really want to see one fly.
Different story once you're out there.
Yes.
Just wait and
I
see.
desperately want to see one of these fly.
Yeah, just wait.
Well, also, like, if you look in Queensdale and like Harathi hinterlands, there's a lot of human outposts that are actually centaur outposts they took over.
Yeah. Well, and Harathi Hinterlands actually has a map meta, and the meta is you go through and you fight a war with the
Yes, this
with
is
the
Seraph is
centaurs.
driving the centaurs.
Yeah. Waffles, you're terrible. He says Megatron's trigger grip only ever fits in Starscream's hands. Starscream. Oh, jeez. Why are you? Why do you do these things? You're horrible. Stop it.
So Phoenix says the house needs to be safely activated down, or great older guys, but IDW needs to be burned down and then exercised.
IDW needs
yeah,
to be burned down and exercised. Maybe both at the same time.
Can we get like the Sisters of Battle to cleanse it with holy flamethrowers? Because that
Well,
would
we
be-
need the Sisters of Battle to cleanse IDW, but more even than that, possibly, is we need the Sisters of Battle to just enact full exterminatus on most fan communities.
just bring in the holy flamethrower.
Yes.
I jinxed that
Or fucking what was the Space Marine chapter from that one video game that the Heavy Flamer Heresy video is from?
the Black Templars, or
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I mean, they're all kind of equally crazy. So
Yeah. But regardless, they had that heavy flamer. I propose heavy flamer exterminatus on these people. I think it's just an excellent idea. Also, get Az on the ground here. Andrew has been laughing at me for doing this for a while now. So, my char is... Let me turn her wings off so you guys can see her. She's very small for a char.
Yep.
Look how much shorter she is. My friend Andrew calls
she's
her a
like-
munchkin char.
that's a bit much. She is like a head shorter. Also, they're doing synchronized emotes with. Well,
They're not on my screen.
okay, on my screen they're doing emotes in perfect synchronization.
Oh, how funny.
At least they were for a minute.
Phoenix Argus also says, start with the Sonic franchise. For fuck's sake, start there.
Oh yeah, these like, because I know Farr was a big fan of the Sonic, but from his describing it, like nothing
I've
about
read
the comics.
I've read a few pages of the comics. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, like nothing about those comics seems okay at all. There's nothing all about them. Those
Yeah.
comics seem very dark and disturbing.
They're... How to put this? They're very depressing. They're borderline nihilistic, in my opinion. Not really
Yeah.
something that I would honestly be okay with. They're nothing I would be okay with handing to my kid, that's for sure. Which is unfortunate because Sonic was, and still is overall, a kid's property, a kid's franchise. Yeah, Phoenix Argus says it was better during the Archie run. Yeah, although near the end of the Archie run, it started going off the rails near the end of the Archie run. Also, the current writers for the Sonic comics are the exact same writers that Archie had. They're just allowed a little more leeway now. Yeah, Phoenix Argus says it got really dark towards the handoff over to IDW. Yeah, and it never really recovered, and I think it was because it was changing hands, and also they haven't picked it back up because they're now allowed to do what they wanted to do.
Yeah. Because it's the same people who are in charge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same people. It's the same exact people who were in charge at... Well, not in charge. They weren't in charge at Archie, but it's the same people who were doing the writing at the time.
It's the same writers.
Yeah.
So thematically, it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't... Thematically, Sonic doesn't seem super dark to me, so I'm not sure where these comics are coming from.
Somebody's twisted imagination. Honestly,
Somebody who
it's...
enjoys video games but isn't edgelord and can't enjoy anything unless it's dark.
Yeah. That'd be... That's my thinking. Waffles says, Sega be like, give me more money, do whatever, just more money. Yeah. Waffles had another one too. He says, salt the earth afterwards so nothing can grow there again. The sad part is about my grandma's property. It's actually a really good place to grow food. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an extremely good place to, like, grow your own food.
Is it because the body's fertilized?
I don't know. Phoenix R just says same people and they're really horrible people, so IDW compatible.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, IDW needs just an exterminatus. Yeah, I would... Personally, I would never try to take on Sonic because I'm just not that familiar with it.
Yeah, well, it's like the same reason I would not want to run Transformers, because I'm a casual Transformers fan, like a casual Transformers fan. I'm not... I wouldn't say I have a familiar franchise.
He's not an obsessive like I am.
Yes, I'm not nearly your level of liking Transformers. Sonic, I barely know anything about Sonic and Tails, so
Yeah.
Knuckles. And Ugandan Knuckles.
Ugandan Knuckles was one of the greatest things ever conceived.
Do you know the way?
Yes. Do you know the way to Akui? No, I do not know the way! Fuck you! Fuck your queen and fuck you! Ugandan Knuckles versus Cell. So good.
God.
What? That was one of the greatest memes ever created, I swear.
Yeah, that's going to go down in internet history. I'm not... There's going to be some... Katala, in like 100 years, there's going to be some dweeb writing a doctoral thesis on Ugandan Knuckles.
I would love to be able to go forward in history just to see that, because I would find it incredibly hilarious.
Just to see how our fucked culture is going to be perceived in the future.
Yes. Anyways, we are in the weeds again.
Yeah, and it's late. You want to close up?
Yeah, I do. We're gonna close up. So for all of you here, I'm glad you came. I'm glad you hung out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We may or may not be doing another one of these sometime soon. We'll have to see what happens. But from the two of us here at the Murder Kittens barracks, if you want to call it that,
I prefer to think of it as a lounge.
that works. That's actually probably more accurate considering the bullshittery we do. Anyways, yeah, we'll go with lounge. From all of us here, thanks for showing up. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for giving us your support. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe, leave a comment, and we will catch you all on the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Night, everyone.